The first time in centuries, researchers have uncovered what's believed to be Jesus' tomb.
Workmen uncovering the marble slab over the tomb. The historian Eusebius said he did it to cover the tomb where Jesus was buried.
After many centuries of searching in different places, scientists finally found evidence confirming the location of Jesus' burial site. Inside the tomb, they discovered valuable knowledge that provides answers to long-standing mysteries that have puzzled generations. Where was this tomb located, and what chilling secrets lay hidden inside its depths? Did they find Jesus' remains? Join us as we reveal what's inside Jesus' tomb and how it will affect our beliefs. The precious tomb of Jesus. Recently, researchers made a fascinating discovery at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem's central area. For many years, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre has been a significant destination for Christians from all corners of the globe, drawing them on pilgrimages to this sacred site. According to the stories in the New Testament, Jesus was crucified at Golgotha, often called the place of the skull. This spot, believed to be an old stone quarry outside the city walls, has a deep significance in Christian history. Around a decade after Jesus' death, a new wall was constructed enclosing the area where Jesus was crucified and buried, within the city limits of Jerusalem. This explains why the Church of the Holy Sepulchre stands within the Old City today. Emperor Constantine I, who embraced Christianity, ordered the demolition of a temple dedicated to Venus in Jerusalem to make room for a church. During the demolition, workers uncovered a tomb believed to be that of Jesus. Pilgrims visiting the Church of the Holy Sepulchre would first ascend a staircase from the main street of Jerusalem, the Cardo. They'd then pass through various sections including a narthex, a basilica, and a sacred garden, where the rock of Golgotha stood, before reaching the Holy Sepulchre itself. Initially, the tomb carved into the rock was exposed to the elements, but later a small building was constructed to protect it. The entire complex was richly adorned, as described by Eusebius of Caesarea, a biographer of Constantine, as well as depicted in early 5th century artwork in Rome and on the Madaba mosaic map from the 6th century. Excavations in modern times have also shed light on its rich decorations. In the year 326, Constantine's mother, Saint Helena, embarked on a journey to Jerusalem. Legend has it that during her pilgrimage, she stumbled upon what was believed to be the cross upon which Jesus was crucified, often referred to as the true cross. The tale of the true cross's discovery became widely known by the early 5th century. By the 11th century, a cave beneath the ruins of the basilica gained fame as the chapel of the invention of the cross. In 614, tragedy struck when a Persian army razed the church to the ground and seized the true cross. However, in 631, the Byzantine Emperor Heraclius managed to negotiate its return. Following the Arab conquest in 638, life for Christians in Jerusalem remained relatively peaceful initially, with tolerance prevailing. However, 3 centuries later, changes came about as the basilica's entrance was transformed into a mosque. Then, in 966, a devastating fire which was ignited during anti-Christian protests consumed the dome of the structure. In 1009, the destruction of the church was ordered by the zealous Fatimid Caliph al-Hakim. Nonetheless, the Byzantine Emperor Constantine IX Monomachos generously financed its reconstruction, but with alterations to its layout, including a new entrance on the south side, during the latter part of the 11th century. Remarkably, during much of this era, Muslim rulers in the city treated the pilgrims with kindness and respect. It was only after the Seljuk Turks took over Jerusalem in 1077 that rumors began to spread about Christian pilgrims facing mistreatment and being denied entry to the church. The desire to reclaim sacred sites, particularly the Holy Sepulchre, played a significant role in motivating the First Crusade, which took place between 1096 and 1099. Following the capture of Jerusalem by the Crusaders in 1099, eyewitness accounts describe how the surviving members of the journey prayed in the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, which was unusual because it lacked a roof at the time. Over the next 50 years, the Church of Constantine IX Monomachos underwent extensive reconstruction. While its original layout remained intact, the church was transformed into a cathedral, modeled after Western churches. The garden surrounding the church became the Crusaders' Basilica, and a separate chapel was dedicated to the Rock of Golgotha. The Church of the Holy Sepulchre was rededicated on July 15, 1149, exactly 50 years after the First Crusade captured Jerusalem. However, construction work continued for several years after this event. Nonetheless, the church largely resembles the one visitors see today. Due to the influx of pilgrims, measures were taken to control entry and movement within the church, evident from the twin doorways still visible today. Finely carved lintels, through which pilgrims once passed, were relocated to the Rockefeller Museum in Jerusalem following an earthquake in 1927. Following the Muslim reconquest of the city in 1187, one of the entrances to the church was sealed off. Despite periods of Muslim rule, pilgrims were still permitted to visit the site, and Western leaders sought negotiations to secure access rights. This place was protected for a long time, until archaeologists unexpectedly found it, unveiling the burial site of Jesus. Inside the tomb, they found something astonishing. Old mortar lying beneath the stone where it's believed Jesus was laid to rest. This mortar dates back to the time when Emperor Constantine ruled the Roman Empire, unveiling Jesus' tomb. This discovery adds weight to the stories passed down through history about the spot where Christians believe Jesus was buried. Going back in time, we find Constantine, the first Roman emperor who embraced Christianity. The tale tells of him uncovering what's believed to be Jesus' rocky tomb, the cherished figure in Christianity, with the help of his mother, Helena. Legend has it that this significant event happened around 325 to 326 AD. Constantine was on a mission, inspired by a divine calling, to find the sacred place where Jesus was laid to rest. They searched tirelessly until they reached Jerusalem, where they believed the tomb could be found. Their journey led them to an ancient Roman temple, possibly dedicated to Venus, the goddess of love. It was a crucial moment in their quest, as they stood before this historic site, ready to uncover the secrets hidden within. The ancient Roman temple, a timeless structure woven into the fabric of history, became the main focus of their exploration. As they sought to uncover the sacred tomb hidden within its walls, the temple underwent a dramatic transformation. It stood for centuries as a symbol of ancient times, until it was carefully taken apart to reveal the secrets concealed beneath its ancient stones. As they peeled back the layers of history, the excavation uncovered a tomb carved gently from the rough edges of a limestone cave. The moment they revealed the tomb's interior marked a significant point in history. The natural cave, now regarded as a sacred space, had its upper section removed to expose the hallowed confines within. This monumental discovery led to the creation of the edicule, a protective structure around the sacred space, preserving the essence of the divine revelation. The tale of Constantine's pursuit and the subsequent revelation of the tomb beneath the Roman temple symbolizes the complex relationship between history, faith, and the search for sacred relics. It's a story deeply ingrained in Christian memory, blending the temporal and spiritual aspects into a profoundly meaningful narrative. Within the sacred walls of the tomb, believed to hold the remains of Jesus Christ, one feature stands out: a long shelf often referred to as a burial bed. According to tradition, this is where the body of Jesus was tenderly laid after the crucifixion, inviting contemplation on the profound implications of that significant moment in Christian theology. Exploring the complex details of the tomb, we discover something fascinating: a similarity to the tombs of wealthy Jews living in Jerusalem during the 1st century. These tombs, carved from sturdy limestone caves, often featured shelves and niches. It's like they shared a common understanding of how to honor the departed, building these sacred spaces with a deep sense of respect. The burial bed isn't just a physical structure. It carries profound symbolism coupled with the spiritual story of Christianity. It represents the final resting place, silently bearing witness to events of great importance. As we study the details etched into the limestone, we feel a deep connection to the rich tale of Christian beliefs. A layer of history unfolds as we examine the marble covering the burial bed. This marble, believed to have been carefully placed no later than 1555, speaks to the passage of time. Yet historical clues hint that it might have been there even earlier, possibly dating back to the mid-1300s. Throughout history, accounts from pilgrims have echoed down the ages, offering us precious insights into the layers of time and enriching our understanding of the sacredness held within. Every chisel mark on the marble and each curve of the burial bed carries with it the whispers of centuries past. These details connect ancient times with today through the respect shown by pilgrims and believers. The tomb, with its special features, goes beyond mere physical space. It becomes a vessel carrying centuries of devotion and contemplation. It invites all who approach to connect with a narrative forever etched in stone. Now let's take a look at the scientific discoveries regarding the mortar found in Jesus' tomb. Exploring shocking ancient secrets, led by Chief Scientific Supervisor Antonia Maropoulou, a team of scientists dated mortar samples taken from different parts of the edicule, the protective structure around the tomb. What they uncovered shocked the world. The mortar, a relic embedded with the history of architecture, became the focus of their investigation. By analyzing samples from various points within the edicule using radiocarbon dating, they sought to reveal the ancient secrets hidden within the mortar. The recent test results shed new light on the timeline of the edicule's construction. The discovery that the lower slab, a crucial part of the sacred structure, was likely cemented in place during the mid-4th century adds another layer of historical significance to this holy monument. Associating this construction work with Emperor Constantine's reign adds an important layer to the story, linking the edicule's beginnings with the influence of a key historical figure. The confirmation of Constantine's involvement in building the edicule holds deep meaning for scholars and historians focused on uncovering the mysterious history of this sacred place. The time frame of the mid-4th century offers a glimpse into the past, connecting the edicule's architectural development with the history of the Roman Empire. As the results emerge, they bring a pleasant surprise to those studying the sacred monument, with the dating of the edicule's lower slab standing as evidence of the ongoing search for historical truth. Once silent witnesses to ancient craftsmanship, the mortar samples now reveal insights that enhance our understanding of Emperor Constantine's journey and the individuals who shaped the sacred sanctuary of Jesus' tomb. Scientists used an advanced method called optically stimulated luminescence, OSL, to date the sacred mortar samples from the edicule, allowing them to determine when quartz sediment, crucial to the mortar, was last exposed to light. This technique is significant because it accurately unveils details of time. The mortar samples underwent thorough examination at 2 separate laboratories, each contributing independently to the quest for clarity about the timeline. Using OSL, the researchers aimed to uncover the history stored in the quartz sediment. By studying how this sediment was exposed to light over time, they gained insights into the periods when the mortar underwent changes. Questions arose about whether the rebuilt church accurately reflected the sacred ground identified by a delegation from Rome 17 centuries earlier. Despite these uncertainties, the church remains a symbol of Jerusalem's enduring spirit, inviting reflection and investigation into the complex narratives of faith and historical accuracy. As researchers examined mortar samples taken from the remains of the southern wall of the cave, they began to piece together a historical timeline. Dating these samples to the years 335 and 1570 provided a link between construction work from the Roman era and a documented restoration in the 16th century. These echoes of mortar, preserved within the structure of the edicule, serve as evidence of the enduring history embedded in this sacred space. The southern wall, having witnessed centuries of change, revealed signs of Roman-era construction, reinforcing the story of how the edicule evolved. Through scientific analysis, guided by precise dating methods, researchers were able to decode the chronological imprints left by different builders and restorers. A significant discovery came when they examined the mortar from the tomb entrance, which bore the signature of the 11th century. This aligns with a crucial period in the edicule's history, the careful reconstruction following its destruction in 1009. The findings highlight the resilience of those who worked tirelessly to preserve this sacred space, showing their dedication through careful reconstruction efforts during the 11th century. The careful examination of these fragments not only helped determine their age, but also paid homage to the skill and dedication of those who, throughout the centuries, contributed to the ongoing restoration of the Edicule. Unraveling the mystery of Jesus. Today, the tomb receives daily visits from millions of pilgrims and is looked after by priests from various Christian denominations, following strict regulations that date back to the Ottoman era. Apart from the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, there are 6 other locations in Jerusalem that people believe could be where Jesus was originally buried. But which one is the true site? One such location is the Talpiot family tomb, located about 5 kilometers south of the old city of Jerusalem. Discovered in 1980, it gained widespread attention after the 2007 Discovery Channel documentary, The Lost Tomb of Jesus, produced by James Cameron and directed by Simcha Jacobovici. Inside the Talpiot tomb, archaeologists found 10 ossuaries, or bone boxes, bearing names like Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. Of particular interest was an ossuary with the inscription Mariamene, believed to belong to Mary Magdalene, suggesting a possible marital connection to Jesus. 2 other ossuaries contained names suggesting familial ties to Jesus: Jude, son of Jesus, and Jesus, son of Joseph, leading to speculation that Jesus and Mary Magdalene might have had a son named Jude. However, scholars argue that names like Jesus, Joseph, and Mary were common in 1st century AD. Judea, so their presence doesn't necessarily prove a connection to the biblical figures. It's possible that the filmmakers, Cameron and Jacobovici, may have interpreted these names too strongly, as they were popular names of the time, and might not indicate any direct connection to Jesus and his family. Supporters of the Talpiot tomb argue that DNA testing showed no maternal link between Jesus and Mariamene, a claim the Discovery Channel documentary suggests supports their theory of marriage between the two. However, critics point out the possibility of a paternal relationship, like father-daughter or grandfather-granddaughter. Scholar James Tabor suggests that the famous James, known as the brother of Jesus, might have been buried in the Talpiot tomb, indicating it as the family burial site of Jesus of Nazareth. Chemical tests, funded by filmmaker Simcha Jacobovici, suggest a connection between the James ossuary and the Talpiot tomb based on trace elements found in the soil of East Jerusalem. Despite the compelling story, some question the reliability of the results due to the small sample size used in the tests. Additionally, there's uncertainty about the origin of the James ossuary, as its appearance doesn't match the other ossuaries found in the Talpiot tomb. It's worth noting that scholars interviewed for the documentary, except for James Tabor, have raised concerns about how their statements were portrayed and misrepresented. This difference makes it important to question the conclusions made by the filmmakers. In simple terms, those who support the idea of the Talpiot family tomb haven't convincingly explained a big problem. If Jesus' family came from Galilee, why would they have a family tomb in Jerusalem? Archaeologist Jody Magnus makes a clear point. During Jesus' time, only rich families used rock-cut tombs and the tradition of later moving bones to ossuaries. If Jesus' family was more modest in Galilee, they would probably choose a regular grave. Magnus also notes that the names on the Talpiot tomb's ossuaries suggest they were from Judea, where people were known by their first name and their father's name, not like in Galilee, where they were identified by their first name and hometown. It's like solving a simple puzzle. The pieces don't match the Galilean picture. Another possible burial site for Jesus is the Garden Tomb, which gained popularity in 1883 thanks to Charles Gordon, earning it the nickname Gordon's Tomb. Its appeal lies in its tranquil garden setting, attracting many tourists, especially evangelical Christians who are eager to visit the place where Jesus is thought to be buried. The history of the Garden Tomb is full of questionable identification methods, including Gordon's belief that Jerusalem looked like a skeleton, with Skull Hill as the head. There's a case of dishonesty, with Ron Wyatt falsely claiming to find the Ark of the Covenant nearby. Adding to the doubt, no tombs from the Second Temple period have been found nearby. Archaeologist Gabriel Barquet studied the tomb complex housing the Garden Tomb, and concluded that it dates back to the Iron Age, around the 7th or 8th centuries BC. Its architectural style is more like tombs from the First Temple period, especially those near the Basilica of St. Stephen. This means that, contrary to what John chapter 19 verse 41 says, the Garden Tomb wasn't a new tomb where nobody had been buried before. It was already over 600 years old during Jesus' time. Unfortunately, for researchers looking for Jesus' burial place, this tomb has been ruled out as a possible location. Another place suggested as Jesus' burial site is the Tomb of the Shroud, located in the Kidron Valley. Its historical authenticity is debated, but it gained attention because it's near the Garden of Gethsemane and is linked to a tradition about Joseph of Arimathea. The tomb is carved out of rock, a common style for tombs in ancient Judea. It's thought to be significant because it might be connected to the events surrounding Jesus' crucifixion and burial. Tradition says it's called the Shroud Tomb because an ancient burial shroud or cloth was found there. While some traditions believe the Shroud Tomb is indeed connected to Joseph of Arimathea, who, according to the New Testament, gave Jesus a tomb after his crucifixion, others doubt this claim. There's limited archaeological evidence supporting the idea that the Tomb of the Shroud is where Jesus was buried, and experts have different opinions on its historical accuracy. Despite the uncertainties, people are attracted to this site because of its religious significance and the mysteries surrounding its connection to Jesus' burial. It's still considered an important part of the rich tapestry of traditions and beliefs about where Jesus was laid to rest. The Dominus Flevit Church is another spot some traditions link to Jesus' burial, although it's not widely believed to be the actual tomb. Located on the Mount of Olives in Jerusalem, it offers a stunning view of the Old City. Its name means "the Lord wept" in Latin, commemorating the tradition that Jesus cried over Jerusalem from this spot. Designed by Italian architect Antonio Barluzzi, the church is shaped like a teardrop to symbolize Jesus' tears. Its unique architecture and panoramic vista make it a fascinating stop for visitors exploring Jerusalem's sacred sites. Next to the Dominus Flevit Church is a rock-cut tomb that has some traditions associated with Joseph of Arimathea, the man who, according to tradition, provided Jesus with a tomb after his crucifixion. Although Dominus Flevit Church isn't as famous as the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, it still holds spiritual importance on the Mount of Olives, a site connected to many events in the Bible. While it's not widely accepted as Jesus' actual burial place, the church remains a meaningful spot filled with history, beautiful architecture, and the religious stories from Jesus' time. The tomb of the Virgin Mary and the tomb of Joseph of Arimathea are also believed by some to be potential burial places of Jesus. The tomb of the Virgin Mary. The tomb of the Virgin Mary, located in the Kidron Valley, is traditionally associated with Jesus' mother's burial. Pilgrims and visitors are drawn to this site, believing it holds significance in Christian history, even though historical evidence supporting its connection to Mary is limited. People are attracted to this tomb because of their respect for Mary and the stories passed down in Christian tradition. Joseph of Arimathea, mentioned in the New Testament, is known for providing his tomb for Jesus' burial. The exact location of Joseph's tomb varies among different beliefs. Some say it's in the Kidron Valley, while others point to different places. These differing claims add to the mystery surrounding the search for where Joseph was laid to rest after his significant role in Jesus' burial. Both tombs are surrounded by religious devotion and history, offering believers a chance to connect spiritually as they explore them. The stories connected to these sites are woven into the broader fabric of the Christian faith, inviting both pilgrims and historians to delve into the tales passed down over generations. The search for the exact location where Jesus was buried continues to intrigue those interested in the historical and spiritual aspects of his burial. In 2017, a team of experts embarked on an ambitious project to restore the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem. This site is revered by Christians as the place where Jesus was crucified, buried, and resurrected. The church has a complex history, having undergone multiple renovations and alterations over the centuries, which makes it a subject of fascination for historians, archaeologists, and believers alike. The main aim of the restoration project was to strengthen the edicule, a small shrine that houses the tomb of Jesus within the church. The edicule itself has been repaired and renovated numerous times since it was built in the early 19th century. Over time, the structure began to show signs of decay, including cracks in its marble walls and instability in its foundation. To ensure the preservation of this sacred site, experts carefully planned and executed a restoration. As they worked on reinforcing the edicule, the team of specialists made an unexpected and remarkable discovery. While delicately removing the marble covering from the tomb's inner chamber, they uncovered a previously sealed chamber within the tomb itself. This hidden chamber had been untouched and hidden for centuries, completely forgotten until now. The revelation astonished the archaeological community and added a new layer of mystery to the history of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. It appeared that the sealed chamber had been closed off during a renovation of the edicule in 1555, a fact that had been lost over time. Although the newly discovered chamber didn't contain any human remains or significant artifacts, its presence highlighted the ever-changing nature of the church and the layers of history concealed beneath its sacred walls. Archaeologists and historians were quick to realize the significance of this discovery. It highlighted the continuous effort to uncover the mysteries surrounding the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, a place steeped in centuries of religious devotion and historical changes. The purpose and importance of the sealed chamber remain topics of scholarly discussion, opening up new paths for research and exploration within this sacred site. The uncovering of the hidden chamber was a truly remarkable event connected to the history of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. It served as a reminder that, even in one of the most revered and extensively studied locations in the world, there are still secrets waiting to be revealed. This unexpected discovery sparked renewed interest in the Church's past and the ongoing quest to comprehend its intricate history. Aside from the fascinating findings within the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, the search for Jesus' burial place has expanded beyond Jerusalem. In the town of Talpio, just south of the city, lies the Talpiot tomb, which has attracted considerable attention in recent years. Discovered in 1980, this tomb complex contained 10 ossuaries, 2 of which have sparked significant debate and controversy. One ossuary has the inscription, Yeshua bar Yehoseph, meaning Jesus, son of Joseph, while the other features Maria Mene Emara, which means Mary, known as the Master. Some suggest that this tomb could be where Jesus, Mary, and potentially other family members were laid to rest. However, scholars vigorously argue over the authenticity and meaning of these inscriptions. Skeptics point out that names like Yeshua, or Jesus, and Maria Mene, or Mary, were common during that time, making such combinations statistically likely. The translation of Maria Mene Emara as Mary, known as the Master, is also open to various interpretations. Despite the controversy, the Talpiot tomb remains a topic of investigation in biblical archaeology. While it hasn't definitively been linked to Jesus' burial, it contributes to the ongoing exploration of historical and archaeological aspects of Jesus' life and death. The quest to uncover the secrets of his final resting place continues, captivating scholars and believers alike. What are your thoughts on the discovery of the tomb of Jesus? Let us know your opinion in the comments below.